106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
Are you telling me you built a time machine out of a DeLorean?
This is a conspiracy.
I love you.
Joe.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Movie Reviews No One Asked For. Today we will be talking about the 2022 film Top Gun Maverick, sequel to 1986 film Top Gun. The synopsis for this film is, after more than 30 years of service as one of the Navy's top aviators, and dodging the advancement in rank that would ground him, Pete Maverick Mitchell finds himself training a detachment of Top Gun graduates for a specialized mission, the likes of which no living pilot has ever seen, facing an uncertain future and confronting the ghost of his past. But this doesn't just feel like your traditional sequel that has, that's just there for cash grab for money. It has heart, and it has a story that you can just appeal to, and just a bunch of characters that you'll just tend to love, including Tom Cruise returning back with his role, and Val Kilmer coming back as well, but now this time starring Miles Teller and Jennifer Connelly as well. This was directed by Joseph Kosinski, which this movie was originally supposed to come out in 2020. Then COVID hit and pushed it back 2 years, but when I say it was worth the wait, I really do mean that. It really was worth the wait. It was much better than I was expecting it to be by a long shot. And like I said, this film really just surpassed the original in my opinion. I enjoyed this film much more than I enjoyed the original. And I'm someone who did like the original, unlike some people who said this table. I enjoyed the original. I did like it. But this just was so much better in my opinion. Like, it really just, it made me feel different than the original did. Like, it just, there's much more heart in this. Like, yes, there was heart in the original between Maverick and Goose, but now it's Maverick and Rooster, who's Goose's son. And just that whole story of just, like, the drama of Rooster not really forgiving Maverick for what happened and kind of blaming him for the death of his dad. It's over 2 hours long, but it really didn't feel like that at all. Like, it really just was just a great film all around. Just the editing and everything just really brought it all together. Now, this film was also nominated for Oscars, which is also part of our series where we'll be talking about the 2023 Best Picture nominees, so we can put them all together before we rank them right before the Oscars come out. But this was nominated for Best Picture, Adapted Screenplay, Film Editing, Visual Effects, Sound, and Original Song for Hold My Hand. But, like I said, this film really did deserve all the nominations it got. It really, like, Tom Cruise even had a powerful performance, which is very rare to say. He's great in all the action movies, he's great in with all that stuff, but it's very rare that Tom Cruise actually does give, like, a heartwarming performance where you actually, like, connect with his character on a deeper level than just seeing him fight bad guys or be just the spy in Mission Impossible and stuff like that. You really do feel for him, and you feel the trauma and the tragic, like, past that he had. You feel that, and you experience it with him. After seeing everything that happened to him in the original movie to now, just, you can't help but just immediately connect with him again, just right after seeing the original. And for that, I really enjoyed this film. It was a lot better than I was expecting it to be, and like I said, it surpassed the original on many different levels for me.
I agree. I love the movie. Jason's never liked the movie, which Seth brought up already, but I always did. I always loved the movie. I could actually, I think when I was younger, I could have quoted the movie because I loved it. I didn't watch it as much as an adult because, again, he doesn't like it, and it's just, it's an old movie. Let me tell you, when we had to talk him into going to theater to see it, and I was like, you might like this one better, and I'm sure he can agree that he did. And we went, and just that music started at the beginning, the nostalgia of it all, and I was back to being like, 7 years old again, and I was just like, this is amazing. I just dated myself by saying that, but that's okay. And it was just, it gave me cold chills. The very beginning, there's nothing there but just the music and saying Top Gun, and it just gave me cold chills. It was just so impactful, I felt like. And then I'm not a huge, like he said, not a huge Tom Cruise fan. I love Mission Impossible movies. I mean, some of his movies, yeah, like you said, he's just not he's not a deep actor, like, one that could really put on a performance, but he was really good in this. Miles Teller, when he walked in, wow, the casting. Of course, I know a lot of it's the costume, but God, I could definitely see where he could be Goose and his wife, Meg Ryan. I don't remember her name in the movie, the original movie, but oh my God, like it definitely could have been their kid. Like it was just phenomenal the way they cast and then made him look. I think the fakest thing was the fact that all those young kids though did know Great Balls of Fire, because no. But it was yeah, maybe him, but no, most kids would not. Or well, I guess they're not kids; they're in their 30s, to whatever. But it was so good. And then John Hamm, he was in it, who I absolutely love. He was kind of a jerk in it, which is, I mean, sometimes I guess he can play that, but not normally. Normally he's kind of just a. I mean, I don't know. Most movies I watch him in, he's not like that. But he was in it. Ed Harris, who I love. Val Kilmer. Oh my goodness, it was heartbreaking to see him in that. I mean, it definitely wanted to tear me up. The reason I was kind of struggling about going and seeing it, whether I just wanted to wait until it came out where we could just watch it at home or go to the theater, was because, you know, so many years later, you're thinking, how is this even going to be good? Like, it's just not. There's just no way. There's too many years that have passed, and I feel like it surpassed anything I ever thought it was going to be. It was really good. It was heartfelt. It made me laugh several times, which, you know, the first one really didn't at all. Jennifer Connelly did a good job. She was great, but it was a really, really good movie. And I guess Tom Cruise actually flies some of the scenes. I did not know that, that's pretty impressive. I mean, he knows how to actually, I don't know what kind of airplanes he flies, but he can fly that. So that's pretty cool too. I give him props for that. But in my opinion, it was a really good movie and surpassed much more than what I thought. It was very wholesome, very good movie. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, you guys make me sound horrible for how much I didn't like the first one. I just fell asleep on the first one when I was younger and tried to watch it. It just didn't keep my attention.
We tried it again when we showed it to him, and you still...
Yeah, to me it was much more of a love story than it was an action movie of the 80s, which I guess is what I really didn't care for. And in the 80s, I was bored of the flight scenes and stuff, but special effects, Tom Cruise doing his own stunts, I mean, I felt like the actual flight scenes and stuff in this were much more engaging, kept my attention. I loved this movie over the first one. Miles ahead in my book is a better movie than the original movie. Miles Teller ahead from the original movie. Casting was great, as Misty said. Yeah, Miles Teller, you could see how it could be their kid. Val Kilmer is one of my favorite supporting actors of all time in movies. I mean, Tombstone is one of my favorite movies of all time. There'll never be another Doc Holliday other than Val Kilmer. So like Misty said, when he came into the movie, huge impact. You saw his real life struggles they played into the movie, which was great. Tom Cruise did phenomenal. I mean, I'm going to give him credit. He did phenomenal in this movie. I think him flying his own planes helped with the stunts and the special effects. It was wonderful. It was engaging. The storyline, I don't think if they would have made a Top Gun 2 5 years or 10 years after the original, it would have been as good. But I think because the way they wrote the story, being, you know, Goose's son so many years later, and Iceman, you know, as high up in the ranks as he was, and you just see Tom Cruise never really went above his highlight of the original Top Gun. I think the story worked, being almost 25, 30 years later, more than that, 35 years later, right? 35 years later, geez.
We're
doing
old.
The math. We are old. Holy cow. 35 years later. That's why it worked, in my opinion. And they did. They had to talk me into going to the movie theater to see it. I did not want to go to the movie theater to see it. I'm like, yeah, you guys go without me. How? And they were like, no, you're going. And I said, okay. But then I loved it. So yeah, it was a great movie. Really good. It's going to rank high on my ratings, if you can tell that, as far as my movies go. But loved it.
Well, saying that, do you want to say what your rating for this movie was?
My rating for this movie was 4 stars. I gave it 4 stars.
My rating for this movie was 4.5. I really enjoyed it.
Mine is also 4.5.
Yeah.
It's a really good movie. But the one thing I want to say to you, though, is you said the flight scenes in the 80s in the original didn't excite you. But nowadays they did. But I'm like, you know, it's a different era. Like, yeah, we had Star Wars, but that was like the biggest special effect type thing we had. So Top Gun back then was like that was like kind of like the big like action and the we just didn't have it's not like today where we have the Marvel cinematic universe and Lord of the Rings, all this stuff. So that's what I'm saying, like I didn't understand that. I'm just asking you about that. I'm sorry, I just didn't understand it because I'm like there's not a lot of like
I was more of a trains and monster trucks and race car kind of kid. I didn't care about airplanes.
Well, there you have it, kids.
There you have it.
So I guess on top, I just thought that stuff was boring when I was a kid. It just didn't keep my interest.
Well, I'm not saying that
It's kind of like, so I'll put it into layman's terms for you. So many people think the second Star Wars movie was one of the greatest, and that was shot the entire time in spaceships. Yeah, like Seth over here. And that was the entire time flight battles and stuff, and that was my least favorite of the original three Star Wars.
Boba Fett.
Yeah, Boba Fett came in for a cameo. It's just not that great.
You're gonna get a lot of haters for that. You're gonna get canceled.
I wasn't into all the space travel fights.
But yet you love Marvel and everything. I mean, that's all the same type of thing.
Anyways,
I know I'm not trying. But what I'm saying, like, I guess my only point, and I'm not your opinion. That's fine. I'm not saying that. I was just confused because. When you talk about that, it didn't interest you back then, and like the graphics or the flying, oh my god, the flying and everything was better now. Well, I just feel like because back then we just didn't have the movies like we do now, the CGI or that kind of stuff. So that's why I was just kind of like confused by that. Like to back in the day when it came out, that was pretty good. Like I mean, that was really good graphics and really good. That's my opinion. That's the only reason.
The most exciting thing in the original was the motorcycle scene chasing the airplane.
And now that's why we're done.
Anyways, thank you guys for watching. As you can tell, we all really enjoyed this movie. We will probably be covering another 2023 Best Picture nominee next, and my bets would be on Elvis. So just look out for that video in the next few days after this one goes up. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy, please subscribe. Watch any of our other videos. Like I said, just make sure you watch all of these before you watch our ranking, because we'll be going more in depth in these videos than we will for our actual ranking video for these 2023 Best Picture nominees. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.
Thanks.